Hey loves! So today I have a really fun review and makeup tutorial for you guys. I recently got my hands on the Gwen Stefani palette from Urban Decay. She has a collaboration with them coming out on November 22nd and they were kind enough to send it to me and I cannot even believe that this is in the palms of my hands. What even? I have a lot of really great information here on this palette I'm going to be giving you guys, plus a beautiful vinyl. Compliments of Urban Decay and Gwen. Thank you guys. I'm gonna go out and buy a planner now, specifically because I own this. Best day of my life. If you've been kind of keeping up with my holiday reviews and tutorials, you'll know how this is gonna work. First off, I'm going to show you the palette in all of its glory, swatch some colors, give you my general thoughts, and then I will show you how I did the tutorial on my face. So we're just gonna go ahead and get into it. Urban Decay says in this little PSA that they gave everyone that received the palette that they do love strong, independent women and that they have been dying to collaborate with Gwen Stefani for years. This does not surprise me. This seems to me like the collab made in absolute makeup heaven. I'm a personal huge fan of Gwen Stefani, so this just means so much to me and I'm really very excited that she was able to come out with her own palette from Urban Decay. But in here you can kind of see, I won't waste your time talking about too much more, we have in here an array of primarily neutral shadows and there are 15 colors. Some of the shades existed previously, some of the shades were created by Gwen Stefani for the palette. She had a huge say in what went in here, and all of the shades in here have a very specific meaning to her. They're either her favorites from Urban Decay, or they're shades that she kind of developed and picked out herself and have a lot of meaning behind them. So I'm gonna kind of go through everything here in a moment, but as you can see, very neutral. You've got some similar sort of tones in terms of like shimmery neutrals and matte browns. So just know that if you're not someone who enjoys that in a makeup palette, this may not be the palette for you. Then down here we have some pops of color. We have like a pink and a blue and kind of like a limey green gold. Then a really nice black. I feel like you could get a lot of looks out of this, but again, it is very neutral. So if that's not up your alley, if you already have the Naked palettes and you're just like, my neutral needs are met, then maybe this isn't the palette for you. But I'm gonna go ahead and go through and show you all the colors and swatch everything. Starting off at the top row, we have Blonde, which is a pale beige with pink iridescent shift. Bathwater, which is named after a No Doubt song, is a pale beige with gold pearl. Skimp is a pale nude satin. Steady is a medium rose with metallic gold shift. And a Punk is a reddish brown matte. Alright, so row one, we have the shade Blonde, Bathwater, Skimp, Steady, and Punk. Baby is a cool metallic rose. Anaheim is a light taupe brown matte. Stark is a nude pink matte Stark. I don't even know where I'm pointing. I can't see anything that's happening. Zone is a medium brown matte, and I feel like Zone pulls a little bit warmer than this shade over here, Anaheim. So this is more cool toned than Zone would be, which gives you a lot of variety. Then lastly, right here, we have the shade Serious. And this is a smoky gray with kind of iridescent pearl on top. Baby, Anaheim, Stark, Zone, and Serious. Serious is so buttery and pigmented, but again, no real pigmentation issues in this row. Pop is pale coral with iridescent sparkle as it's described on my form. I find that it's more of like a champagne color and it's a little bit chunky in application. We have the shade Harajuku, which is a metallic blue pink with iridescent micro shimmer. Danger is a deep, like really metallic royal blue. 1987 is a bright metallic yellow gold. I feel like this has a slight limey tinge to it. It's a little bit green. And then the last shade we have here is the color Blackout, which is just a really dark matte black. Pop, hopefully you can get a feel for how chunky and glittery it is. I did use it on the lid and it was kind of a mess, but I do really like the shade, so I'm willing to work with it. Harajuku. Danger is freaking beautiful. That is so little product and it's gorgeous. 1987, like I said, kind of like a lime greeny gold. Blackout, I want to quickly touch on this. I have Blackout in another palette and it is not as creamy or pigmented or as buttery as this. When I put my finger into that shadow, it felt like I was touching liquid. So just so you know, this is a really great matte black shadow. Before we kind of jump into my makeup tutorial, my overall thoughts on this is that number one, I'm really excited about the collaboration, obviously. And thus, you know, I obviously have sort of an idea in my head going into this that I'm excited for the collaboration, I'm excited for the palette. But standing outside of that, I do do think this is a great palette. I found pigmentation across the board was really nice. This look was super easy to create. A huge thing I was kind of noticing is that you've got a lot of different neutrals in here, as I keep saying, but you have cool neutrals. Like you've got this cooler tone brown and sort of like this really deep charcoaly gray, and then you've got your warmer neutrals as well.
This mirror is impossible to hide.
So in that aspect, it's really nice because I feel like with a lot of neutral palettes, you kind of have to pick and choose what exactly you're gonna get. You have to pick between a variety of neutral palettes to get either warm or cool, and in this, you kind of get a mixture of everything. The packaging is amazing. It feels weighty without being over the top, and you do get 15 eyeshadows in total in here, and the price is going to be $58 on this. It does say on the press release form that it is going to be at Sephora, Ulta, and select Macy's stores. If you're a fan of Gwen Stefani, I don't think you'll be disappointed. In that aspect, it's really cool to know how much she had to do with this palette. Like, she designed the casing for it. She had so much say in which eyeshadows went in. If you're not a fan, it's also a really great palette. I would highly recommend it, especially for the kind of winter season. I think that this is going to be a sort of fun, like, value kit slash palette that everyone can enjoy, whether you're a fan or not. If you're a fan of Urban Decay, and if you own Urban Decay palettes, you already know the kind of quality you're gonna get with something like this. This totally stands up to my expectations. I'm 100% impressed. And if it's something that you think you would get a lot of use out of, I totally recommend it. That's gonna do it in terms of this review, so let's go ahead and get into the tutorial. The lids are already primed, and I'm going to go into the Gwen Stefani palette and just take this color right here, which is called Zone, using a fluffy brush, and mine is a baby bit squished because I've been traveling with it here recently. But I'm just going to dust that in the crease. Okay, so now I'm going to take the shade Punk, and I'm going to dust this into the outer corner of the crease. This is a little bit more pigmented than I thought it was gonna be, which obviously is never anything but a pleasant surprise, but we're just going to dust this into the outer corner. We're just going to bring whatever is left into the remainder of the crease. I'm a little bit rusty, so we're gonna blend for a minute. I have been doing the same eyeshadow look for like 2 weeks straight, so go easy on me. So I'm going to start out with the shade Pop. On a flat shader, I'm going to pack that onto the innermost portion of my eyelid. I'm gonna take the shade Baby and just pack that on the outer corner of the eyelid, coming into where I stopped Pop. And I am going to kind of re-blend and relayer that darkest color Punk in the outer corner again, but I'm just going to lay this down for now. Just taking my clean crease brush, and I'm gonna quickly run this through just to re-blend the whole look. Using Punk again, I'm just going to lightly dust this into the outer corner once more and bring whatever is left up and into the crease. So I'm gonna clean up the shape here in a minute, but for now I'm just taking a little bit more of Punk on this tiny little brush, and I'm just going to smudge that here on the lower lash line. I'm using a pretty light hand. I just want a very light wash of this shade. Now using a blending brush, I'm just going to blend, and in a second here we'll kind of clean up the overall shadow. So I'm gonna jump into the shade Stark. This is going to be my brow bone highlight, and I'm also going to take this color, just a little bit more of it, and go really lightly underneath the edge of my shadow, and this will help to sharpen it a bit and make sure it all looks nicely blended. It does have like the finest, babiest bit of shimmer, but I think it still gets the job done. Using that same blonde color, I'm just gonna go right here on the innermost corner and lightly highlight with that shade. I've been doing a lot of looks with liner and lashes here recently, and I definitely don't want all of my looks to stay the same with that, so I'm not going to do any liner today, and we'll just do mascara here in a moment. For now, I'm just going to set off my brows using a bit of clear brow gel. I, of course, did fill them in prior to filming with my typical brow products, but I like to set them with gel after I highlight underneath, because otherwise I feel like it just, I don't know, nothing looks seamless. I've been living for NARS's Dolce Vita blush here recently, and I only have it in this particular palette, so that's what I'm going to use. Now I'm just going to use Anastasia's So Hollywood, yes it is So Hollywood, highlighter, and just pop that where I would like to highlight the face. Now that I have on all my powder products, I'm gonna go ahead and set off the face, first using MAC's Prep and Prime Fix Plus Spray. That just adds a bit of hydration back into the skin, and now I'm going to use Urban Decay's All Nighter to make it last. So I went in with MAC's Costa Reach eyeliner, which is just a really warm toned brown, and then I realized I didn't like the way it looked on my waterline and upper tight line, so I took a darker brown. This is Too Faced Perfect Espresso, and basically I just went right over it. And the only reason I'm telling you is just because I know it'll look a little bit warmer than this eyeliner does by itself, but you obviously don't have to do both. I would much prefer just a dark brown or a black even. Now I'm going to curl my eyelashes. And now I'm going to apply probably close to 3 coats, because I have stubby baby lashes, of my favorite volumizing mascara, and this one is Maybelline's The Falsies. We're working with a pretty neutral look. Nothing is too terribly dramatic, so I'm gonna go with a pretty bold lip. Today I'm going to line my lips just using my MAC lip liner in Cherry. You could probably use a darker lip liner, but this is what I have. I'm going to use a ColourPop Lippie Sticks in the shade 54. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not already. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!